So there's a lot more that I could talk about, and I'm happy to talk about other examples later. But I want to just circle back to this notion of being an applied researcher, particularly in education. For those of you that do education research, you know that there's been a strong focus over the last few years in improving the rigor of education research, and I think a lot of times that rigor really translates to randomized controlled trials, experimental studies. And what was happening is that there are tons of monies being poured into these experimental studies, and you're oftentimes seeing no effect or little effect. And that's just sort of, not even dealing with the critique of whether or not these designs or methods are appropriate for school-based interventions to begin with. So I think in education right now, this is a really interesting time because John Easton is now the head of the Institute for Education Sciences. And he's known for doing very rigorous research, but he's also starting to talk about relevance and usability. And he's talking about involving policymakers and practitioners early on. He's talked about using a dissemination model, moving from a dissemination model to a facilitation model, so that we're not just dropping findings in the lap of policymakers and really helping policymakers grapple with the implications of research. So I'll stop there, but I want to leave you with that because I think that's really sort of signals a paradigm shift, and I think there are a lot of opportunities that open up for applied researchers in education with this shift.